guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the pushback that I've been getting on some of my Disney and Universal videos. Yes, there's always going to be a difference of opinion, but I have noticed that a lot of the commentary that I get on my videos from people disagreeing with my content tends to honestly be Universal and Disney World employees. How do I know that? Because a lot of times they will either say that they're an employee, or they will have kind of their full name as their screen name, and a quick Google search, and I will notice that they are an employee for Disney or Universal. Some of them have come back as security positions at Disney and Universal, and they will go on and they will make comments like, I disagree with you, or everything this girl is saying is wrong. Some of the funniest comments I'll get will be like, she's wrong. I contacted the hotel. I called the hotel and they said she's wrong. It's like, well, what do you expect them to say? In the event that you call the hotel and you were like, is this a nice hotel? What do you think they're going to say? No, it's awful. Don't stay here. But yeah, Disney and Universal Studios are not happy that I am sharing this information with you. Let me say up front, I grew up on Disney, and I was obsessed with Disney growing up, so it was always a really big part of my life. But I've also become a very authentic person as I've continued to grow up, and knowing that I'm not going to be the type of content creator where, honestly, I feel a lot of your content creators like Disney, that do Disney and Universal content, are where they just come on to their video and they tell you that everything is awesome, everything tastes great, everything looks great, and I'm not going to be that type of person. I feel that that's a very inauthentic way of being, and I cannot perform content that's not honest. Like I said, I may go to Disney or Universal and love something, and then I'll be like, oh, this was great and I had a good time. But if something is not a good experience, I'm going to tell you the truth. And that's a quality that I do not think most of your Disney and Universal content creators right now possess, unfortunately. They are just either on the dime of these theme parks or want to be, meaning that occasionally they give them a kickback and they're looking for incentives, free stays, free, first experiences where they let them have early access to something. So they are just, these Universal and Disney World, especially because those are the ones I have experience with, just not thrilled, obviously, with the content I'm putting out. And what they'll do is occasionally they'll have some of their employees or this or that, comment on my videos. But you guys got to use your own, I guess the word is discernment, and you shouldn't believe what anyone has to say. You should always hear commentary and then do your own research to figure out what is best for you. I don't want you to watch these videos and be like, oh, I'm going to listen to her 100%. I want you to be able to hear information, do your own research, and see what is best for you, given all the information that you've taken in. And is what I'm saying factual? Yes, because I have no reason to not say something that is true because I'm not on their dime. So that basically, if I tell you something is good, in my opinion, at Disney, obviously from all the negative things I've said, that, oh, I probably do like that. The biggest pushback I have seen from Universal has been regarding the Cabana Bay Beach Resort. And I've talked a little bit about that property, and I stayed there for my trip there, and there were good points and there were bad points. I found it interesting how I put out a video that was the good and the bad of Cabana Bay. And in that video, I thought I was very nice. I mentioned a lot of the good points. I said, the resort is fun. It has it's a good price point. It's got the Volcano Bay view. But I also mentioned a lot of the crime and safety related issues that are happening at Cabana Bay. I spoke about in my vlogs that some of the things that were happening, I went there during a time period with cheer, so there was hardly any security at the resort. You had, people that were on luggage carts and they were surfing through the food court. I think someone commented, oh, if that had happened, they would have done something. It's no, they wouldn't. They don't want to get involved with security there. You had a man who was there with his son who was in his 30s or 40s, and they were doing relay races through the gift shop. They were obviously intoxicated, and they almost knocked into like everything in there. And again, the workers in there didn't do anything, and I think they had the attitude of, you know, we're not paid enough to do anything with this, and this happens all the time. I saw a male and female housekeeper go into a room that they were supposedly cleaning together, which was really weird. And usually they prop open the door, they went in there, closed the door. I had someone comment on my channel, and they were like, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with a man and a woman going into a hotel room together and closing the door? It's like, they're workers and they're going into a guest room. I spoke about how there was a transient who was unfortunately off the street, and he was not a guest at the resort, and he was wandering the property at Cabana Bay. And someone commented on my channel, and they were like, Universal respects all walks of life and people of all races and ethnicities. It's like, poor attempt at gaslighting. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Universal being accepting towards cultures. I'm talking about that you had a deranged person that was off the street, that was up to no good, and was wandering the property of Cabana Bay back and forth, and he was seeing if he could gain entrance to the tower, but then he realized you needed an ID card, your hotel room card, to open the door. And that would have been a very serious situation, because he could be wandering the hallways there. He could try to go into your hotel room if you prop open the door. That would have been a very serious issue. You don't want to have someone who's obviously a transient walking the halls of a hotels and rooms, and you know, you could have women going back to their hotel room alone, you know, going back to change or something. That's obviously a very serious issue. And you know, the people are commenting with these liberal comments and being like, we respect all people of walks of life and everything. So when you say that comment, we respect all people of walks of life, are you planning, when you go to Universal or Disney and you see a transient on the street, are you planning on inviting that person into your hotel room to enjoy your Disney or Universal vacation with you? If not, then I don't understand the commentary you're making. If you're not willing to invite them into your hotel room, maybe like give them a bubble bath, maybe like invite them in, cuddle them in bed, maybe buy them a Disney or Universal day pass, because you don't want them to miss out. Then, you know, where are you talking from? You're saying that it's rude not to allow a transient into your hotel room? I mean, I don't know what you're going with. Well, with everything we see happening in New York and everything, that may be what you're saying. I don't know where you're coming from. So most of the pushback has been related to the crime and safety issues concerning Cabana Bay, mostly from employees having to do with Cabana Bay. So there are safety concern issues happening with Cabana Bay. One person was like, you saw all of this in 3 days? And it's like, what's funny is the day I checked out, there was actually an incident where a drunken man apparently assaulted a security guard at Cabana Bay, and that made news. And well, technically to that person who commented, you saw all this in 3 days, technically I didn't see that. That was actually the day I left. So I'll also get a lot of pushback on commentary I've made that I've read a lot of bad reviews about Endless Summer, and they'll be like, how could you say these things, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you do know that Orlando and the city of Orlando has spoken about the immense crime that is unfortunately happening associated with the street that leads into where Endless Summer is located. The street, unfortunately, where Endless Summer is located is like a creepy 7-Eleven right next to it. You can only imagine what's, you know, the nighttime activities of that street. Unfortunately, there have been many, many serious crimes and issues that have happened associated with that street that leads into Endless Summer. It's actually a pretty dangerous area, and there's dozens of news articles from the city of Orlando, not from Universal or me, talking about crime that's happening in that area. So again, it's like these people are kind of like left is right, right is left. You know, you're looking at a newspaper article and you're being like, that crime that's happening, that's not a big deal, it's fun. So it's like, I don't know where you guys are coming from. And then if you go on TripAdvisor or any of these sites, you will see hundreds, if not thousands, of comments of people who have stayed at Endless Summer with photos showing that it's filthy and it's horrible and it's not a safe resort. So all of these people are lying, right? But then the person will be like, I called the hotel, and the hotel said it's nice. And there just will be a lot of pushback, more so associated with Universal, it seems. I spoke about how also the walking path, unfortunately, from Cabana Bay to the parks does not appear to be safe. It runs along a common road. It's not like the Disney bubble, and you do have some what appears to be transients walking that path, or at least on the side of it, and there's no roving security. And you'll have people again who'll be like, well, what's wrong with all walks of life? It's like, are you one of those people that like wants to get mugged? Like, what is like your thought process with this? But again, like, you know, you'll have people interviewed on the street of New York, and apparently they're living in their own bubble. And they'll be like, go back to your Disney bubble. It's like, well, that's actually a positive point I could say about Disney, and that's with all the negative things I've said about them, is that the bubble of Disney is so enclosed, and you travel so far into the resort. You travel so far into the Disney resort that the bubble that Disney creates for you is a safer environment than what I have seen Universal's creating for their guests. Most of the pushback I've seen regarding my Disney content, where I've criticized different things, regards the DAS Pass, which is the Disney Disability Services for Disney World. It is, I have many videos on DAS explaining their disability services there, but you can watch another video on that. And again, I feel like the commentary is coming from Disney employees who have basically said anything. Basically, Disney cannot discriminate, and they cannot ask for proof. So if someone says they have an ADA disorder, that's the end of the story. They have to give you the DAS Pass. They cannot ask you for proof, and you explain basically the symptoms of your disorder. You do not have to tell them the name of it, and they cannot, give criteria. They cannot, one is better than the other. And I think Disney and Universal, for that matter, has been very annoyed that I have brought this to people's attention. Many people did not even know about the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act. You'll have a lot of people doing gaslighting techniques on my channel, and they'll be like, the ADA doesn't cover theme parks. Yes, it does. The ADA doesn't cover rides. Yes, it does. Gaslight and try to make what I'm seeming not factual. And unfortunately, I think a lot of that's coming from Disney employees, because they're annoyed that I've told people that they essentially, if you have a disability and it's an ADA disability and all that, then you have a right to the DAS Pass. And I think Disney is pretty annoyed that I'm sharing that information with the public, because they could, in theory, lose a lot of money with forcing people to do Genie Plus, which is a whole conversation in itself. My point of this video is that going to theme parks is only one of the things I do, but I realize that my channel has become sort of a being authentic channel, what I approve of, what I don't. And since growing up with theme parks was a huge thing that I did, that's something I'm going to talk about. And Disney and Universal are just not happy that I'm sharing this information with you. But anytime you travel or go somewhere, you need to be doing your research. It's not in your best interest to, although those videos are fun and entertaining to watch someone in their travels and they checked into this hotel and they're having a great time. Those are fun videos to watch. It gets you excited about traveling, and you're excited about packing and going on the trip. That's great, but you should also do research on the pros and the cons of where you're staying. How, if you're still choosing to stay there, how can I avoid some of these cons? How can I improve the situation so that I have the best time? You don't want to watch a video that's all unicorns and then have a miserable time because you didn't know to avoid A, B, or C. So I'm always going to be an authentic creator, and I'm going to keep making these videos. And I don't care if Disney and Universal has their entire PR team comment on my videos. Like, I'm going to still publish. I'm going to still tell you my authentic opinion, because this is Nicole Approves. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and stay tuned for my next video, and bye.